Welcome to this follow along routine where we do joint rotation throughout the whole body. We will start from the lower parts, moving up towards the spine and finishing with the arms. I will be using a timer set on 25 seconds for each joint in both the directions. So you can either go with me on 25 seconds for each joint or count the repetition and then switch the patterns or direction of the joints. We will start at the beginning with rotational arm brace. It's a really nice movement to kind of feel the ground, get your stand right, and engage the whole body while loosening up, making sure the knees are soft. "25 seconds are over. We do another round. So we really come in, check in with our body. Okay, going forward for a joint, doing 4 cycles. Also a bit of a balance exercise. If you feel the balance is not good enough to hold for 25 seconds, feel free to grab something. Other direction. Make sure the whole range is engaged. Also helps to focus with the eyes on your joint, so the body-mind connection is really present. Either switch to the other joint or start with the knee. Just about loosening. Moving up to the hips. And here there's different approaches. You can either kind of open the hips while you move, or kind of just move from the hip joint. So this is what I'm doing, kind of having the direction forward, and now switch the direction. And with this, it helps also to have comfortable clothes on, which is not restricting you in the movement pattern. So you actually can embrace the full range in the hip joint. Shifting weight. Now the ankle rotation, 25 seconds. Switch the directions. So it's really not a balance exercise. It's really should focus on the joint first. But if you have the balance, if you're able to stand, switch towards the knee. And you can make use of that as well. Really just loosen it up. Like a snapping. And from there, up to the hip joint. And again here, different options. opening the hip or having the hip kind of focus forward, then the movement might not be as big as you would engage the hip in within this pattern. Coming back in the full rooted stance, and now going with the hip, anterior and posterior pelvic tilt. So it's like this motion from the side looks like this. And now kind of lets the hip drop and even bend more my knees for the side tilt of the hip. And now we kind of move our hip in a cycle. And we can imagine like a compass with the north, south, west, and east. And we kind of really, in a circle, embrace all the directions. Switch side, 26 seconds for this pattern. You really can focus on the point for the PC muscles, where you also kind of contract and relax. And from there we move towards up the chest. So first movement, it's going from north to south with the chest, or from 12 to 6 o'clock. There's also a way, now we go from 6 to 3, or from west to east. There's also a way of holding the head still and not kind of moving it, called the closed chain. Or there's also a possibility of doing it with an open chain, or maybe something in between, but really having the focus in the middle of the chest. And again, doing a cycle on this transversal plane we did before with the hips, and moving to all the directions clockwise, and then switch sides anti-clockwise. Feet are still rooted, knees slightly bent, hips are in a neutral position. And same thing we apply on the neck. So 12 to 6, moving back and forward. I also call this movement the chicken. Like you can see, the rest of the body doesn't move. It's really isolating in the neck. And from there, going left to right, east to south, 6 to 3, or 3 to 9. And I can pull my shoulders up, elevate them to kind of get some more range into the sliding to the side motion in the neck. And then do the cycle again on the transversal plane. 25 seconds. And switch the direction. Really go full range. As long as you don't feel any pain, be also gentle with yourself. But quickly, the practice shows also increasing the capacity of movement. Now we go towards the arms. First of all, we do a contralateral pattern. It's kind of a more natural one. We use also when we walk. We just kind of go a 90-degree angle from the shoulders. So there's only half circle in the shoulder. And then we move contralateral pattern, full circle, one direction. And other direction. This movement can be more complex in a coordinated way, but again, through practice, things unfold and becomes easy. Still checking the time. Okay, now we moved already a little bit more, and that's okay. So we continue with a back and forward motion. I'm also like bending my knees, and if you pay attention to my feet, they also move and shift the weight. So I move back, my toes come up. And then a full cycle again. And these arm patterns here are also to allow the shoulders and muscles around it to relax. So it's a movement which is integrated and initiated from the whole body. Switch side. So my lower body is very active and kind of gives the arm the momentum to move. So I don't need to use the muscles around the shoulder joint. And now we do a side pattern. Also again, just a half cycle. And I like to also shift the weight, but this also can be done without the weight shifting. But like I said, these patterns in the arms should really also loosening up. And then we do in the frontal plane circle in one direction. And circle in the other direction. Switch side. Frontal plane, circle in the other arm. in other direction. And finishing up with the rotational embrace, feeling the rooting in the legs, initiates the movement up to the hips from the feet, rotating the spine, really feel the relaxation in the arms. We're kind of hammering gently on the body, and we awake also. We're finishing up with a standing practice. Get the feet a little bit closer, gently bend your knees, ankles are engaged, hips is in a neutral position. Kind of can put your hands on your lower body, go in the anterior and posterior tilt till you feel the spine is straight, and from there you hold the position for another 2 cycles, 50 seconds. Arms just relax, really drop down, and concentrate on the breath. And gently close your eyes if you feel like it. And this was it. Ventral joint rotation, moving towards the whole body, waking up the joints, and see you next video.